here we go. Hello guys, and welcome to a another another daily cast, and where we will look at well, this is not a high hero to speak of, but it's a whole player that used to be very high in the ladder, uh, and just came back here. So I wanted to look at him, and I think some of you guys will be pretty excited to see him back also. So it will be interesting to see where he's at and how he plays right now with the new patch. So let's see. It is Haviland tough paired with Nekron against Dobattlers and Darktilldawn. It's Darktilldawn. Oh, really? Okay. So we will have a Wanderer start from Darktilldawn. Dobattlers is going for a tree worker, now 4 worker, uh, Royal Guard start, Yuzora start on Nekron, and Angler start from Haviland Dove. Okay, so yeah, sorry for the artifacts, it will go out on wave 2. That is only due to the fact that we joined late on wave 1. So here you go, you have the reset here, and you have the Devilfish on wave 2 to tank the split. Oh no, decided against it and going for the cat instead. Trying to protect those anglers, which are not showing. Okay. And here the Yozora will be enough to hold wave 2. We do have an Aqua Spirit onto the Battlers. No, it's Darktilldawn. You have the Snare Resend from Haviland, trying to catch the Wanderer player off. But I do think that with the Aqua, it should be enough to cover most of the wave. No, it looks like it will be a leak. There is too much wills remaining, I believe, for the Wanderers, but there was some Triads here. Okay, they are Triads, but still a leak nonetheless, but a very small one. So, more time for a send from them, but he cannot push to 6 workers. Do Battlers do not go for more workers as well. He did receive a 20, but he knows that wave 3 is a weak wave for the Royal Guards. So no sense on wave 3? Or will it be a brute after income for Nekron? So let's see. Dobattler is going for an Atom and Gargoyle. It is a brute after income. It is a lizard after income for Darktilldawn against the Yuzora. But he has those bazookas, so it should be good enough for him to hold. And we have a king up against Haviland. So let's see how the brute does here. I mean, the 2 lanes of interest are here and here, so let's put it there. The brute is doing pretty good, but the atom is pretty strong DPS, and all the wave is almost dealt with here before it reaches the atom. And I do think the atom will be able to clear that, or maybe just leave the brute. The brute has a good damage against it, and yes, it will be a small leak here for the atom player, but a pretty respectable one for a brute against a brute after income here. So I think it is very good for him. If he decides to go for 6 workers, he possibly will go to 6 worker after the wave ends. And no, he decides to stay at 5 workers here, going for the other atom. So a little bit scared of the reason here. I don't think he had to be, because this is a good tank on 4 and 5 and also 6 with good damage in the backline in the atom. So I think a little bit over safe for the battlers, but still better safe than sorry, I suppose. We do have the Dino after income from Haviland against the Aqua and the Wanderer. Would have much preferred to see a Hermit on wave 5. But But it looks like it will be a small leak, nonetheless, for the Aqua player. Or will it be? Wait, the dino is dying here. The chickens are dying, so it is a hold here for the dino. Still king ups onto Haviland, and a lizard resend onto the Yozora will be held by the bazookas. So 7 workers on Darktilldawn. Feeling confident on this wave. I wouldn't be, honestly, but if he wants to be, he can. 8 workers. Okay. Uh, so this means trouble for him on wave 6, because he does not have a good answer for wave 6 here. So bold move, but it can work if he gets some leaks out of that high push, and if he doesn't leak that much on wave 6. I mean, the first concern is wave 5, of course, but he should be fine with the magic damage of the Fire Elemental. And it looks like, yes, it will be enough to be able to hold. We do have the Atom Spam here from Dobattlers, pushing now against those double DTs to 7 workers. I doubt it will be 8 workers here. And Fiend is doing pretty good work against the Zeus here. It will be a small leak. No, the spell just in time for the Zeus. Alright, so very good on wave 6 as well. We do have a wave 7 send from Haviland going for the DT. And the Butcher here. So the Butcher is a good nature defense tank now. But I don't really like the Butcher on Fire Elementals, and that's because of the range unit not tanking until far into the wave. So it can be very good in the early game because the damage of the Aqua is enough to regenerate a lot of their HP, especially on 7 and 8. But right after those waves, there is not a single wave where it is very useful to have lifesteal on the Aqua. But it will still enable him to hold, I believe. There's only 3, yeah, it will allow him to hold quite easily here. And so the 8 worker push is good in that situation now, and he can push even harder now. Going to 10 workers, he is now on value even. He can choose to go 11 workers if he goes for a lot of cents. Staying at 10 is the safest part. But no, he decides to push the 2 workers here, trying to put pressure here on wave 8. And the battler, well, no, okay, it's king ups, it's not pressure. So then 12 workers is a mistake, in my opinion, because you expose yourself too much for wave 9. If you decide to not go for those king ups and go for a big wave 8, the enemy will be far undervalued because of your high push, and so they might panic and go for some king ups themselves. So I think it's a missed opportunity from Darktilldawn. And here the double brute is enough to leak the battlers. So the lifesteal on the Fire Elemental is enough to hold his lane, but against the double brute here in the middle, it will not be enough, and so it will result into first king damage. So wave 9 is potentially the next step for Nekron and Haviland, but Nekron going for income instead. But Nekron does have 10 workers here, so he can still join if he decides to. It looks like it was only the lizard and the save afterwards. We do have a very high stack bounty hunters on Haviland. And he does decide to go for a Windhawk in preparation for next wave. Not the best tank, I would have much preferred to see the Butcher, but he decided against it. And he's still not receiving anything here. And Dobattlers is relieving the pressure doing those king ups. But let's see what Darktilldawn is doing on wave 9. I mean, he did a second fire elemental, so he's looking pretty weak on wave 9, so probably leaking the whole wave. And then after that, he has no answer for wave 10 either. So that's why the 12 worker were a bit too aggressive here if you don't go for pressure on your opponent. So the recent here is enough to leak Dobattler. Just because his frontline is purely natural and the damage needs to ramp up. So there was not enough time for the uh, DPS to ramp up and do the damage they needed. So now wave 9 and 10 pretty weak for both those players. We'll see another Royal Guard here on Dobattler. He's going for more Bucklers. I do think it's his best option. So decides against it and do more damage with the atoms. He is close to value, but his units are not that great here. The send is small though. The send is big onto Nekron and onto Darktilldawn. So the two sends here are on Red's lane right here and on Yellow's lane. So here we see the pack leader still alive, and we do have here the boar now dying closely. I don't like the hermit here because there is no AoE. There's only the Zeus. So maybe double lizards could have been a bit better. But here we do see the big leak coming from the Aqua player. Still doing pretty good considering the units he had, but still 74% leak against the 58 of Nekron. We do have a close hold here from the Atom player. Will not be able to cover in the middle. They do have a lot of king, so they will not take too much off of that, but still king damage for Nekron and Haviland. And here Darktilldawn and Dobattler are going for a resend here. Nekron is going for a resend as well. Going for the Hermit here. Not a fan, of course, because there's just no reasoning why you do the Hermit on 10, except if you are going for a lot of king damage to have a healthy boss in the middle and they have little to no damage. Well, I mean, it could be a good king damage here, but there is a decoder will be distracted by the Hermit. So in that sense, the Hermit does make sense. And here, any sense will leak Darktilldawn. Pretty sure of it. Because all the damage is in the Samurai Soul and the HF, which are his tank as well. And the Aqua does little to no damage. So the Hermit now dying to the deep corridor. The front line is almost gone, but the atoms are still strong behind. And the corridor is doing a lot of damage as well. It will be a clear here for Dobattler. And the leak here from Darktilldawn as we expected, but still did pretty well here considering the units he had. There's resends here on wave 10, not the best here because of the Zeus damage on this wave and the front line in the Yuzura and the Great Boar. For Haviland it was a Kingpin here. How many stacks on the Kingpin? A 138 Kingpin stack is very, very good. Now we do have Villain on Haviland going for the front one here, so okay. And we do have a high worker push as well. We have a 17 worker on Haviland, but we do have 16 on Darktilldawn as well. He does show some weakness. Oh. Okay, so if you take sacrifice, try not to sacrifice a Aqua Spirit. That could help. So sacrifice is powerful when you sacrifice a big unit for a better big unit on a wave you expect to send. If you sacrifice just a 50 gold unit, you don't get too much gold efficiency, let's say, about this build. So that's the thing. 18 workers on Darktilldawn. So going for an aggressive play on what wave? Like 13 is out of the question, and 13 is their weakest wave on Dobattler and Darktilldawn. So they are kind of forced to go for wave 13. Even though 14 was probably their best bet. So we do have the Lost Chieftain here on Darktilldawn. Dobattler is going for a... What am I seeing? Oh my god, okay. Um, so we do have APS on Bucklers. Not the best use of APS because the damage from Royal Guard is not that impressive. And we do have some king ups on two Nekrons here from Darktilldawn. But I do think they still need to go for income here on wave 13, and they decide to skip it. So let's see if Haviland decide to go for the Kingpin here. No, he decides to go for some Violets here. Still very good. But they do not receive here, and so that means that if Darktilldawn and Dobattler are surviving this, they need to choose their wave very carefully. I mean, Dobattler is saving for a long time right now. Darktilldawn did go for some king ups earlier. So there's two Lost Chieftain, so the tank in front is pretty strong here. No 4i against it. And it is a Yuzora in front, so this means that it will survive quite a long time. The Hermit is dead, the Ogre is dead, the Chieftains are doing a lot of damage, so it's not the... Wait, is it a hold? It is a hold for red here, so very, very strong hold. That's for sure. And so now they have the pressure advantage because they are surviving. Red is now ahead in workers compared to the others. Can we kill this one? Nope. Okay. But there was a lot of low golems here, so still very good for them. Very low king damage, and they will be happy with that. And they decide to skip 14. 15 is out of the question, especially against this Zeus circle. Do they go for 16 with the resend from Nekron? That could be a real possibility here. We do have a huge overvalue here from Haviland, getting those two kingpins. Those two kingpins are close to 150 stacks both, 149 and 150. So very, very good kingpins here. But he is not the greatest on a 15 for sure. But 16 seems to be the best wave to send on if you are Darktilldawn and Dobattler, with the resend meaning that Dobattler will not be that far under next wave if he decides to not push, that is. And Dobattler is overvalued with good units on both 15 and 16, so I think they skip 15. I think the play is to skip 15. So here we'll see a small leak here for blue. Wasn't the strongest wave with the APS Bucklers. Okay, they decide to go for 15. I mean, one could say that Nekron doesn't have the best front line, but I'm not sure about the Hermit Sand, to be honest with you. Does he go for the Shaman here? Okay, he does go for the Shaman. But not a fan of the Hermit here yet again, because this is a lot of single target damage, and the Hermit go for healing, um, healing whole unit, so better against AoE. So we do see the Orchids coming out, we do see a lot of Seraphins, but still the front line is non-existent from Haviland, and Nekron also not really a great front line for this wave. They are very far under now. And let's see what to do. So we do have full king attack from Necron and Haviland. They are still saving on Mythium though. So Haviland will be able to go for a huge Shen very soon. Probably going for 17 now. He is attacking the boss right now, which is not the greatest, honestly, because his range units are not attacking the boss. Well, partially they are not. But this is a hold from the Zeus player quite easily here, as we discussed. A lot of magic damage, and it looks like this was enough frontline for them to do pretty well. The Zeus will be able to clear most of the middle here, especially the boss here from 2 of the Zeus. And here you go, the boss is cleared, so very low king damage. If not, yeah, there will be some king damage. There's not a full cover in the middle, but still very good play by Nekron. They will now have the pressure advantage, have done already saving for a long time. They will be able to push quite heavily into the wave 17 Sen. 17 pretty strong from both Nekron and Haviland in the Great Boar and the Kingpins. We do have a recent from Darktilldawn going for a mole here. The mole does make more sense than the hermit here, to be fair. But still, if there is a leak here on 16, it is working against Darktilldawn and Dobattler. So they are going for the full reset, at least Darktilldawn is. The hermit, don't know how many times I'll say it, but I don't really like the hermit against this kind of build. But still, let's see how it does. The Zeus Circle is doing pretty well here with the magic damage, and the front line is still very strong on Nekron, and so it is close to a hold, if not a hold here. It will be a hold, so no extra time, but still it allows Nekron to push some more workers and have some more pressure. And no sense here on 17 from the Battler and Darktilldawn. They are 600 under, they are very weak on that wave, so it is not looking very good. And we do have the MPS on the Golden Bucklers, on the Royal Guard, sorry. So, yeah, well, yeah, pretty much the only thing we can say. And here is going on for more Wanderers and not changing the defense type of the front line here. If you go for Eternal Wanderer up front, then the fortified tank is tanking and not the Arctear, so this Arctear will just melt against the wave, and so it will result into a big leak from Darktilldawn. Dobattler will also leak quite massively here, despite having MPS Bucklers. And they are trying to send on 18, and wait, they do survive here. The Dobattler did better than I expected. I guess MPS Bucklers are better than I expected. And so he is able to cover pretty well. And so it will be a hole in the middle. And now the Sands on 18, well, it will be a hold from Nekron yet again, because of the Zoo Circle with Magician. So they do survive, but they don't kill on wave 18, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the front line is not very good. So yeah, frontline not very good here. But oh wait, I'm saying that, but there is the arc there now going. Also, there's two orchids, but three boars is just so much raw stat, like close to 9,000 HP. Sorry, I got something in my head. Yeah, close to 9,000 HP. And we do have full king here from Haviland. Not feeling confident into the hold here. It is still a shaman here. And no shaman on the side of Darktilldawn. So indeed it will be a hold from the Zeus player in the middle. And Haviland going pretty well here. It is also a hold on his side. So they are close to value, so not surprising. And now they have the advantage here. The recent here on Dobattler does work pretty well. Wave 18, 19 will be skipped. But wave 20, if Darktilldawn go for all those chieftains and add them again, then he will be in a position that where he will be able to hold wave 20, while the others are not looking the greatest on 20. We do have a recent from Nekron, but he is pushing quite heavily, so that is still fine. Trying to get an advantage here. But now, after wave 19, what we want to see is Dobattler going for a high push to leak Haviland as fast as possible on wave 20. Let's see, what does he build here? Oh wait, is he going for more bucklers? Oh no, he's going for more APS MPS buckler. So yeah, okay. And we do see more aquas instead of more pilgrims. So I'm not a fan of that. It will snipe the shaman if there is one on 20. But the damage on 20 is those pilgrims, so he needs to spam those pilgrims. And now we need to see a 20 cent on everybody. We will see a leak here on Dobattler, and I do hope that seeing that they do go for a 20 cent. They are still holding on to their Mythium. There is a sand on Nekron and Haviland. So the sand will be melted by the aquas. But now they need to go. Like Darktilldawn and Dobattler need to go now. They don't have a choice. They cannot go on 21. They are choosing to save. Despite the leaks to income sense from Dobattler. Not looking good for them. They will be 2,000 under, even 3,000 under. Still not going for more pilgrims. Yeah, only one. So yeah, this is looking like game for Nekron and Haviland. Not even an attempt of sending here whatsoever. So it will be massive leaks here from Darktilldawn and Dobattler. They do not have the damage to kill the boss. They do not have the front line to enable the ramp up damage of the Fatalizer. Yes, you do kill the range units and the range sand from Haviland, but you do not have the resources to kill the boss. You had the best delay, you had the best unit for it, but you did not go for a race here. And look at this, Haviland leaking to no sand. This was close to a leak because the front line was soon to be gone. And here is the delay that we talked about. And it could have been it could have been a win for Darktilldawn and Dobattler if they only sent here on wave 20 against Nekron and Haviland. But instead of that, we do have a great hold from Nekron and also a big damage onto the king, and it will be the death of him on that wave. Even though it's 2 witches, the boss does too much damage. And here you go. We do have the win from Haviland and Nekron, a misplay by Darktilldawn and Dobattler, but nonetheless very well played by Haviland and Nekron. So, I think the big problem was the build idea from Dobattler. Like, yes, he did pretty well on 17, better than I expected with his units. But when you do some frontline here, you don't necessarily want to buff them with a DPS aura. You much prefer to have this MPS Atom. That's way more useful than the MPS Bucklers. So I think it's just the build from Blue that made it very hard for him. And if you see that, if you see wave 19, 320 income sends, and Blue leaking, even though you're not sure that you're leaking the other team on 20, you need to assume that you are not holding it. And if you are not holding it, and you don't have the full king HP, and that you don't have the best damage yourself, you have to try and go and kill them. And it was a good possibility because look at the no send leak from Haviland, and there was 2 board left on Nekron as well. You do a shaman here, and it's pretty close to over. Like, yes, you cannot go for tank mercenaries because of the boars; they get evaporated unless you go for a big tank. But you had the Mythium. You had the Mythium for a maybe Ram Shaman, or you can do Centaur Shaman as well. So there was some options here for Darktilldawn and Dobattlers to win here, possibly. But they did not see 20 as a threat after receiving on 19. So on that, thank you for watching YouTube, and hope you liked it.